Hey guys, tonight I'm going to talk a little bit more about characters because I just love to do that. And I have a lot of ideas for different characters and how to create characters. And I've made a lot of characters over the years. So I thought it would be fun to just show you a couple of them that I've made and how I go about role playing them a little bit more. It's just sort of fun. Um, so the first one, let's see. First off, the story is made up of characters. So, whatever your setting is, or whatever, you're going to end up making characters who are involved in the story. Hopefully this will help inspire something for you in the future. So the first one I have is named Brew Stormwall. I invented for a campaign in the Arctic Tundra. I had been watching The Revenant, and I really enjoyed Tom Hardy's performance in that as Fitzgerald. And I thought that would be an appropriate character for a small side quest that they were going to do, where they were going to make some money by trading furs with some of the native tribes people who live out in the wilderness. The tribes people are sort of hostile, so the situation was going to be charged. Brew was one of the people spearheading this mission, and he took the characters on. They were going to make a little bit of money by selling the furs and that they traded with the natives, and it was all going to be Gucci. So the stuff that I came up with for him is he's very mercenary. He only wants money. He's also racist and mistrustful of other people. So those were some of the basic things that I had for him. But in terms of basic behaviors, or the way that I create the character is I would do the eyes first. So the first thing I would do is big eyes. And then I do his voice. It's a little bit like this. I talk kind of like this, I'd always be watching, because you really never know who's out there. And the archetype is a ranger. So I'm ready for really anything out there in the wild, and I love to be out there in the wild. I hate civilization. I'm around civilization makes me uncomfortable for too long. I want to be out there working, making money, and one day I'm going to be rich. So a lot of his behaviors were kind of insulting, callous. So if someone suggests something, be like, yeah, it's a dumb idea, we should try this instead, No, you can't do that. See? If we try that, they're going to stab us in the back, all right? Now when we go in there, we're going to give them the furs, and we're going to make sure that nobody crosses us. See what I'm saying? All right? Have your weapons at the ready. So that was his angle as we went into that story. So his motivation was to basically rip off these natives, and he was able to turn it into a fight and kill them. I sort of left it up to the players as to whether or not they could defuse the situation. So that was him, and he's basically an immoral guy who's really willing to do whatever it takes and will lie to you, will lie right to your face to get something he wants. But you're not going to hear that from him. Yeah, let's go. Sure. You want to make some money? Good. Now, when we're out there, you better be ready, all right? Anything can happen while we're out there. You could cross a boundary and then, bam, they'll come and get you from the sides. Keep your eyes peeled. So that was Brew Stormwall. Another creature I had was a sea hag. She had this booby trap where she would pretend that she was like an injured sailor, or like an injured woman, and she would lie in the surf and use her magic to make it look like blood was pooling around her, and then she'd wash up on the beach in front of travelers. Travelers would go over and investigate, and as soon as they got close enough to her, she would reveal her face and kill them, or do something awful with them. The thing about hags, from what I've read, is that they're deceptive and they're bitter. They think the world has screwed them over, and they believe in the worst aspects of other people. So they see you for all your flaws, for everything that's wrong with you, for all your doubts, for they hate the good things about you. Like if someone else is beautiful, they hate that they're handsome, or if someone is really good-hearted, they'll try and corrupt them and turn them. So her character was like long face and sort of an ethereal nature and big on the teeth, imagining sharp teeth and long hair coming down over her face.
Well, looks like you're in a bit of a pickle, huh? That's a shame. Such a nice face, so handsome. Shame if something happened to that. No, I don't want anything to happen to you. Right? No, stay right there. You move again and I'll cut you.
That's right. Mommy loves you, doesn't she? You want to go under the water one more time? Splash. So, very aggressive. And I imagine her with like big, long face, sharp teeth, very ugly. So that was one character. Another one I have is a sycophant for like a wise man. So he kind of operates in like a little bit of a higher register, and he just wants you to understand, man, like there's nothing wrong here. Like, there's nothing wrong. You can really trust he's a brilliant man. He's a wise man, He's a kind man, I know the bodies, sometimes he gets carried away, but trust me, all right? Like it's really no one they don't understand him. They think he's a monster, but he had to do that. He had to do that. Please. It's okay. It's okay. All right? It's going to be fine. Just treat him with reverence, and he says things, he says things that are they move you, he knows the soul, you just have to trust that really, like the man is a gift, he's a monster. I mean, I'm a small man, I'm nothing, but he's this great, he's this wonderful, oh God, you're so lucky, but just listen, okay? Just listen. He wants you to listen. You want to listen. You want to know what he's got to say because it's going to change your life. Because you think you got everything figured out there in the real world, but you don't. You don't see the reality of things. So he would do a lot of things like that where he works with a lot of like lightweight and a lot of thought. And he just wants you to, he believes in the vision, and he almost doesn't see the world around him, because he's so obsessed with the kind of higher self. Okay, so then another one, Alara Portier. She's the commander of a military outpost in the jungle, and she has a very rigid way of doing things. I based her on Tywin Lannister. So Tywin Lannister has this great line when he's talking to his son. He says, "Killing him was stupid." Or whatever, attacking Ned Stark was stupid. And then Jaime says, like, he kidnapped my brother. And then Tywin says, well, why is he still alive then? And then Jaime says, Tyrion? He says, no, Ned Stark. He goes, well, it wouldn't have been clean to kill him. And he goes, clean. You care too much about what other people think of you, He says, I don't care what other people think about me. And he says, that's exactly what you want people to think about you, all right? Now listen, if someone can capture one of our own and hold them captive with impunity, we are no longer a house to be feared. So it's very strong, very insightful person, very intelligent person, very powerful, cunning, and totally unemotional, except for like anger. So when they encountered her, they were going to buy a charter from her. So she says like, sit down. Where are you from? What are you doing here? Interesting. And what are your plans? Do you agree to our terms? What's the name of your company? All right. These are the rules. You give us 50% of your cut, and we do not harass you in the jungle. That's it. So she's very straightforward, and she is the one who lays down the law. She's a military commander. She's used to doing this with all of her troops. She will tell you exactly the way it is. And if you want to fight her, then it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a genuine fight that you're probably going to lose if she's near her troops who will completely support her. So those are all kind of singular characters. Another thing that'll come up is I'll have to come up with like a generic character. If they're in a farming landscape and they go to meet a farmer, I'll have a couple of names for farmers, and I'll think like, okay, which one do I want to pick? And I'll pick one, and then I'll give a farmer, and I'll give some basic description of him. He's tall, he wears overalls, he's got a beard, he looks at you in sort of a trusting way, and a little bit sad. So a lot of like, okay, well, thanks for coming. We've had a lot of problems lately, and it's good to have someone who's going to help us solve them. Would you like some milk? Please, sit down. I'll get my wife to come out and get some. And then he'll kind of go out and, hey, doing a video. And then he'll go out and like, his behaviors are very simple. He's kind of like an average sort of guy. And then characters will evolve on the spot. I kind of trust my intuition to invent details of, does he have kids? Does his mom live in the house? Does he have a dog? I just, I trust whatever's going to happen in there, and then he'll evolve that way. Another character that I have is the lover, my bard character, who's really overly involved in other people's affairs and is really empathic and wants to see people succeed, and wants, beauty to exist in the world. So he just goes out of his way to help people and to show people, look, life is not that bad. There's this wonderful thing. Just listen to this song I wrote. It's amazing. It's about how we don't have to live in this world. Just because things are this way doesn't mean you're always going to be sad and poor. Sleep well tonight. So very empathic, communicates with his eyes a lot, soft voice, high-pitched voice, light. Okay, another really big character, and I love to play really big characters, is a demon lord. This demon lord is called the Demogorgon. You might be familiar with this if you've seen Stranger Things. The Demogorgon in this lore is a two-headed serpent monster. Both of the heads are baboon heads, and they are on the necks of snakes that connect to this big kind of reptilian body. And he's huge. He's 20 feet tall and has big claws and stuff. So it's tough to roleplay because there's two heads. So the first thing I'll usually do is kind of start off with a movement, like what would it be like to have a snake neck? This big character. He's huge. His head is huge. And he looks at the other head. They look at each other, and then they both gaze at you. And one of them steps forward. And then it reels back. And it says, "Bring me sacrifices. I want to know what you can give me." And the other head turns around and goes, "No, I want to feed on him. I want to eat it. No, this one will be for us to use. I smell fear." So, giving him a lot of insight into what's going on, he can read people's emotions very quickly, and he can instill terror immediately and do things with his eyes where he can stun you. So while I might not make eye contact most of the time that I'm using him, as soon as I use one of his powers, I'll kind of do that, and then do the description of you feel something start to penetrate your mind and your vision blurs out, and then you lose control of your bodily functions, And then I'll have them make a charisma save to see if they're able to kind of resist his powers, which are significant. I like playing liars sometimes. We had this guide who was taking these people through this cave system, and his name was Bupido, and he's very gregarious. He's kind of thoughtful, and he points out things. He's intelligent. He's like, you want to be careful not to walk on those areas. They have strong faults. Now, you'll notice you hear that echoing sound of the water. Yeah, there's a lake near here. So if we want to get some food, we can do that. Where are you guys from? What have you been doing? So he's kind of, he seems open, and deep down, he really wants to sacrifice the characters to his god. He wants to pick them off one by one. That's something really hard to get to the truth of, because he's a great liar, and he's also totally fearless. Um, so a lot of his behavior is kind of reactionary to the situation that's going on, and he's very good at kind of assessing a situation and picking something. The problem is he has a tough time holding back his urges when it comes to, like, if he really thinks it's time to kill someone, or he hasn't like made a sacrifice in a couple of days, he might do something really fucked up. So I mostly just run on that information and play the scenes as they come, and then see how he's going to behave. Another one I have is Wakanga Otamu. He is a merchant prince of Chult, and he lives in this jungle climate, and his clothing is opulent, and his hair is pulled back and braided and all these really nice kind of tassels. And his face he has a very relaxed face, and deep eyes, and big lips, and this warm heart where he's so willing to take you and to talk to you and to know where you've come from, and is curious and kind. Please, stay in my palace tonight. It would be my honor to have you as a guest. Come, tell me your story. So he's got, I work in a deeper register with him, and it's very much about the facial expressions of, like, relaxed, calm. I have everything I could possibly need, at my fingertips. The world is a mystery, So I work kind of from those places with him. There are other merchant princes who behave differently, and this is how I choose to represent him. Especially because he's an ally of the party, I want him to come across as one. I use a similar characteristic for Kawasha, who's a druid. He's very wise, he's slow-paced, and he's penetrative. Like, he's a little bit more of a listener. So Kawasha is empathetic towards people, and he likes to listen to other people's stories. He likes to, like, hear what they have to say, and he sort of has more of a curious look, slightly suspicious, and a face a little bit like this. It is not often that people take an interest in my people. Come, sit down. This is my friend, Kupalue. Say hello. So he's got this kind of, he's like a very kind of giving character, but also wise and spiritual. So as, like, questions arise about that, he'll open up to it. And yeah, that's a bunch of them. Okay, it's been 17 minutes. I'm going to say stop. Thank you for watching, and I'll do another one tomorrow.